Morning Offerings, Part 1, the Akeidah. Our God and the God of our forefathers, remember us with a favorable memory before you, and recall us with a recollection of salvation and mercy from the highest of the ancient heavens. Remember on our behalf, O Hashem, our God, the love of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, the covenant, the kindness, and the oath that you swore to our father Abraham at Mount Moriah, and the Akeidah when he bound his son Isaac atop the altar, as it is written in your Torah, Genesis 22, 1 through 19. And it happened after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he replied, Here I am. And Hashem said, Please take your son, your only one, whom you love, Isaac, and get yourself to the land of Moriah. Bring him up there as an offering upon one of the mountains which I shall indicate to you. So Abraham awoke early in the morning, and he saddled his donkey. He took his 2 young men with him, and Isaac, his son. He split the wood for the offering, and rose and went toward the place which God had indicated to him. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and perceived the place from afar. And Abraham said to his young men, Stay here by yourselves with the donkey, while I and the lad will go yonder. We will prostrate ourselves, and we will return to you. And Abraham took the wood for the offering, and placed it on Isaac his son. He took in his hand the fire and the knife, and the 2 of them went together. Then Isaac spoke to Abraham his father, and said, Father? And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Here are the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the offering? And Abraham said, God will seek out for himself the lamb for the offering, my son. And the 2 of them went together. They arrived at the place which God indicated to him. Abraham built the altar there and arranged the wood. He bound Isaac his son, and he placed him on the altar atop the wood. Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slaughter his son. And an angel of Hashem called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he, the angel, quoting Hashem, said, Do not stretch out your hand against the lad, nor do anything to him. For now I know that you are a God-fearing man, since you have not withheld your son, your only one, from me. And Abraham looked up and saw, behold, a ram, after it had been caught in the thicket by its horns. So Abraham went and took the ram and brought it as an offering instead of his son. And Abraham named that site Hashem Yireh, as it is said this day, on the mountain Hashem is seen, or will see. The angel of Hashem called to Abraham a 2nd time from heaven and said, By myself I swear, declared Hashem, that since you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only one, I shall surely bless you, and greatly increase your offspring, like the stars of the heavens, and like the sand on the seashore. And your offspring shall inherit the gate of its enemy, and all the nations of the earth shall bless themselves by your offspring, because you have listened to my voice. Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham stayed at Beersheba. Master of the universe, may it be your will, Hashem our God, and the God of our forefathers, that you remember for our sake the covenant of our forefathers, just as Abraham, our forefather, suppressed his mercy for his only son, and wished to slaughter him in order to do your will, so may your mercy suppress your anger from upon us, and may your mercy overwhelm your attributes. May you go beyond the letter of your law for us, and deal with us, O Hashem our God, with the attribute of kindness and the attribute of mercy. In your great goodness, may you turn aside your burning wrath from your people, your city, your land, and your heritage. Fulfill for us, Hashem our God, the word you pledged through Moses, your servant, as it is said, I shall remember my covenant with Jacob, also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham I shall remember, and the land I shall remember. Always may a person be God-fearing, in private and in public, acknowledging the truth, speaking the truth within his heart, and arising early and proclaiming, Master of all worlds, not in the merit of our righteousness do we cast our supplications before you, but in the merit of your abundant mercy. What are we? What is our life? What is our kindness? What is our righteousness? What is our salvation? What is our strength? What is our might? What can we say before you, Hashem, our God, and the God of our forefathers? Are not all the mighty like nothing before you, the famous as if they had never existed, the wise as if devoid of wisdom, and the perceptive as if devoid of intelligence? For most of their deeds are futile, and the days of their lives are empty before you. The preeminence of man over beast is non-existent, for all is vain. But we are your people, members of your covenant, children of Abraham, your beloved, to whom you swore at Mount Moriah, the offspring of Isaac, his only son, who was bound atop the altar, the community of Jacob, your firstborn son, whom, because of the love with which you loved him and the joy in which you delighted in him, you named Israel and Yeshurun. Therefore we are obliged to thank you, praise you, glorify you, bless, sanctify, and offer praise and thanks to your name. We are fortunate. How good is our portion, how pleasant our lot, and how beautiful our heritage. It was you before the world was created. It is you since the world was created. It is you in this world, and it is you in the world to come. It is you who are Hashem, our God, in heaven and on earth, and in the highest heavens. True, you are the first, and you are the last, and other than you there is no God. Gather in those who yearn for you from the four corners of the earth. Let all who walk the earth recognize and know that to you alone, are the God over all the kingdoms of the earth. You have made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. Who among all your handiwork, those above and those below, can say to you, what are you doing? Our Father in heaven, treat us with kindness for the sake of your great name that has been proclaimed upon us. Fulfill for us, Hashem, our God, what is written. At that time I will bring you, and at that time I will gather you in, for I will grant you renown and praise among all the nations of the earth, when I bring back your captivity before your very eyes, said Hashem.